So training at the moment, or surgical training, is a mentor-mentee based system. It's like an apprenticeship. That's one of the biggest challenges with robotics. Only one person can be in charge of the console at a time. You suddenly have trainees just passively watching the operation. They're not actively involved in the whole process. I haven't had any access myself just because of limited availability, which does make learning robotics extremely challenging.
The process by which most people have learnt robotic surgery is not standardised, not formal in any way, and that's, I think, a big area we haven't had yet, and that is appropriate educational system but also an appropriate sign-off system.
Medicine is quite a conservative industry, and I think that's reasonable, but we've been too conservative, and I think the technology's got ahead of our application of it. We need to catch up in education by applying these fantastic new technologies in our surgical repertoire. We were very fortunate. We had a Victorian government who were on board with the idea of developing a new skills centre, and internationally there aren't a lot of places where you can go and be immersed in the technology of robotic surgeries. We'll have a unique opportunity through this centre where we can have the young surgeons come after hours because they're all time poor. They can practice on the simulator, we can assess their skill level, and then we can put them on the actual robots in the skills centre and use the actual robotic technology that they would be using in the hospital the next day.
This is quite a unique concept. Overseas, a lot of the robotic development has been done through the companies that have a robot, whereas here this is independent.
Surgeons taking control of what we think the standard should be.
Which will include text, simulation, 3D video and virtual reality.
To be able to practice our manipulative skills before we get into the operating theatre is pretty incredible.
It's an amazing concept, and I think the idea that we can actually operate on those models will give any surgeon a huge amount of confidence.
Or let's say there's an operation that someone hasn't done for a while or is particularly challenging.
Now we can look at the operation in 3D the day before the surgery. It's a much better education method to see the anatomy three-dimensionally.
Are you going to surgery because you want to make a difference? We know that robotics gives better outcomes, it's minimally invasive, there's less complications, less bleeding, patients are getting out of the hospital quicker, getting back to their normal activities quicker, and I want to be a part of that.